Hey there. So as you begin to work more on your digital poster session and edit it, it will be very important just to have a little brief APA in-text citation review. And then today we will also discuss more about how to do citations for figures, tables, and images. So you need several different components for those to make sure that they are cited correctly. So one big thing that we're going to talk about today is that you can't just copy and paste images from Google search and throw them into your digital poster session. You will need proper documentation and also proper APA style formatting for all of these things. So APA citations. So we're going to talk about the following very briefly today. So you will need to have the following APA formatting and citations. So you'll need APA in-text citations, citations for figures, charts, and images, and then also a reference page. So I'm going to do a very, very brief overview of APA paraphrasing and direct quotes. If you need more review on this topic for your digital poster session about in-text citations, either paraphrase, direct quote, reference page, the preferred use of paraphrasing in APA, I would highly suggest that you go back to Unit 1 in English 355, where there's a little bit more extensive APA review. For those of you that feel that you have grasped the content and knowledge of APA very well, I didn't want to make this presentation too overwhelming and repetitive. So if you need more than this presentation, please feel free to reach out or also go back to the Unit 1 and review those materials. So a big thing about APA, it was a big struggle for me being in humanities and going to APA, is that APA prefers paraphrasing to direct quotes. So MLA usually uses more direct quotes. APA uses more paraphrasing. So when you paraphrase, you always need to include the author's last name and the year. So remember, one of the critical things about APA style is that it does value the year that the work was published. So paraphrasing. If you are paraphrasing an idea from another work, you only have to make reference to the author and year of publication in your in-text reference, and you may omit the page numbers. APA guidelines, however, do encourage including a page range for a summary or paraphrase, but it will help the reader find the information in a longer work. So again, for this presentation, I relied heavily on Purdue OWL to create this presentation. And in this paragraph that I just read to you, it kind of sounds like Purdue OWL goes back and forth on whether or not you should include page numbers with your in-text citations. I highly suggest that you just include them just to make sure that if someone wants to find where you got that information from, that they can. But basically, in a nutshell, the page numbers are optional with paraphrasing. So here's some example paraphrases that maybe you would find in your own digital poster session. So here are a few example APA paraphrases that could be a part of your digital poster session. So the research illustrates that the new drug, Xanol, is not effective for ADHD. I also just made that up. I have no idea what Xanol is. I don't know if it's for ADHD. So if you know what that is, this information may be incorrect. And then I did this to show you guys how to do multiple sources in an APA in-text citation. So you have Smith, 2018. If you have more than one author, you would do the and in between with the symbol. And then if you have more than 3 or more authors, you do the ETAL. I also did them in order by year just to organize them. Another example is, however, there are alternative health interventions for ADHD, such as mental therapy workshops. There is a single author citation. And then maybe this could go in your discussion, results, or conclusion. So this study recommends a combination of therapy and drugs for best treatment. So these would all be example paraphrases that would work very well in your digital poster session. Now we're going to review direct quotes just a little bit. So it is strongly suggested that you maybe only have 1 or 2 direct quotes on your digital poster session. Remember, you want to avoid large chunks of text, such as direct quotes. So I have talked about text chunking and short sentences and bullet points maybe a dozen times throughout this unit. So again, just reiterating that you want to avoid direct quotes because that is huge text chunks that you don't really want to overwhelm your reader with. So you'll need to introduce your direct quote with a signal phrase. So according to author year or author year verb, such as reveals, how, and then quote. So you must include the page number with direct quotes, and just another reminder for the fourth time that you should seldomly include direct quotes in APA writing. So here are a few example direct quotes that could be part of your digital poster session. Notice too that I did two different format and setup with this. So according to Rogers 2019, coffee does not have any mental health side effects, but it may make some types of people more anxious. So Rogers reveals how coffee does not have mental health side effects, but it may make some types of people more anxious. So with this, you could either do the author and the year, or you can do the page number, or you could do author here and then page number and year over here, or you could even do author, last name, year, and page number all in one. So necessity of tables and figures. So visuals, such as tables and figures, must be used to assist communication and not to use up space or disguise not significant results behind a screen of complicated statistics. So when you're inserting tables or figures into your digital poster session, the big key question to keep asking, to keep reflecting on would be, is the table or figure necessary? So with figures in APA, figures include all graphical displays that are not tables. Figures can be graphs, charts, drawings, maps, plots, or photos. I do not think that many of you should really be using graphs or charts because I do not think that many of you did a primary research study for your Unit 2. So I have a feeling that you would use more photos as figures for your digital poster session. So just like tables, figures should supplement the text and should be both understandable on their own and referenced in the text. So this is how we talked a lot earlier in this unit about how text and graphics need to work together. When preparing figures, you need to consider communication and readability. Well done design supports communication where text and images work together. So here are parts of a figure that you need to include. So it will be the numbers, the title, image, legends, and notes. So the number is the figure 1, and then the title will always be italicized and go underneath the figure or image. And then you have the actual image for the figure, and then the legend, so series 1, 2, 3 if you have a graph, and then note. So note is just a very simple one sentence to describe your figure. So let you guys review this just for one more second. So with numbers, all figures that are part of the main text require a number using numerals. So figure 1, figure 2, etc. You need to include figure numbers on your digital poster session. Numbers are assigned based on the order which they appear. So if you have 3 figures and one of them is your introduction, one of them is your results, and one of them is your conclusion, the one in the introduction would be 2, one in the results would be 2, and the one in your conclusion would be 3. So you need to order them as you go throughout your digital poster session. So for the title, here is another example. So this would be the results from a primary research study with some data in it. So under the number, write the title of the figure italicized in title case. The title should be brief, clear, and self-explanatory, and both the title and number should be double-spaced. This is a big thing for you guys to know too. So if you need to cite the image to below it. So unless you refer to the in-text citation, this is what you will have under your image and figures. So the image of the figure is the body and is positioned underneath the number and title. The image should be easy to read in both size and resolution. And a big tip for this is to save the image to the computer rather than copying and pasting. It will have a little bit better resolution, and just overall it will look better. So template for citing figures, you would do the figure number, the title, from the title of the web document, and then by author, year, and then you include the URL, and then copyright year and the name of the copyright holder. And here's an example of how all of your citations should look in your digital poster session. So this is probably the most important slide in this presentation. So I'd highly recommend, before you move on from this presentation, that you write this down somewhere. The figure, number, title, from title of the web document, by author, comma, year, in parentheses the URL, and then copyright year by the name of the copyright holder. So I'll give you guys just like 20 seconds just to jot that down, because I think that will be very, very important to have that information when you're doing final design and edits and revising to your digital poster session. So with images that you find that you either take yourself, if you take an image yourself, you just need the figure, a title, and then a description. That was, so I'll go back really quick. So obviously you don't find a chart that you made online. This would be with your own data. So if it is something that you made yourself, then you just do figure 1, the title, the figure, and then a note. If it is something that you found from somewhere else and you are not the creator of it, this is the template that you would then use for citing images, just to make the distinction between the two and what is expected of you very, very clear. So moving on to images. Shading and color should be limited for clarity. Please use the template from the last page for all images that you decide to include in your digital poster session that you did not create. You will not receive full credit for APA style and formatting if you do not have proper documentation for your images. And then each of your images needs the figure, number, title, and the citation from the previous slide. If you made it yourself, you'll do the note instead of the citation. So you need to cite images, diagram, and artistic works as you would cite any other type of work. You should give as much information as possible about the images that you use. So maybe if you are searching for images online, you'll want to make sure to record the creator's name, the date that the artwork was published, title of the work, place of publication, publisher, type of material, website address, and name of institution or museum. It's very, very important that you always write down the information about a source when you find it. I've had a lot of videos from professors in my doctorate program where they ramble. I'm just going to make this like a 15-second story for you guys. When I was doing my master's thesis, I found this image that was absolutely gold for the argument that I was making. And I did not record any information about it. And I just put it into my master's thesis. When I actually went back to cite it the next day, it took me over a week to find exactly where I got that image from. So I just kind of went on a big loophole with it. So it'll save you a lot of time. If you find something you really like, record everything you can about it, so it'll be easier for you to find it in the future. So in-text citations and references, just a little review. If you are doing a in-text citation, you will do a paraphrase. And for that in-text citation, after the paraphrase for the image, you would do artist, last name, and year. So this is only if you are referring to the images that you use that are not yours. For the in-text citation for a quotation, you would do the same thing, artist, last name, year. For the reference for your image, it would be artist, last name, first initial, year in parentheses, title of artwork, and then in brackets format, title of website, URL. If you do not find an author, there is also the setup for that too. So you would do title of work, type of work, year, title of website, and URL. Here's another example cited image. So again, this is one that they did not create. It was found from another place. So here's the figure, here is the title, here's the image. In the note, instead of just describing it, since it is not yours, you need to put in the actual citation from that template. And then if you refer to it in the citation, you would do figure 1 when you're talking about the image. And then this is just another example. If you refer to any figures in your digital poster session, you do FIG period and then just the number. You also don't do the either in the figure or in text. You never put the number symbol in there. You just do the number. So once again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. And I hope this helps you a little bit making some final decisions for your digital poster session. Again, if you need more review than this, I highly suggest that you go back to Unit 1 from the digital poster session, or that you review Purdue OWL more on your own. Thank you.